We are going to the men's soccer program to talk about their record-setting season last year. Joining me, I have head coach John Higgins and forward Javier Steinwascher. Higgs, we'll start with you. Can you just first talk about how far the team came from the midseason slump you guys had there at the middle towards the end of the year?
It was amazing just to see the growth in a team over the course of one season. Really kind of was a slow start to the season, which we typically have. Unfortunately for us, Javi got injured just right before the middle of the season, and that really hurt us, and we really didn't hit our stride until he came back. And as he got better, our results got better, our performances got better, our leadership, got better, and we got everybody on board as we were going into the knockout competition time. But really, it was standard for us to have a bit of a slow season. I think we would have hit our stride a little bit earlier if we had Javi fully fit.
Javi, I'll go to you now. You led the nation in assists this past year. What did you work on going into the year to kind of add that to your arsenal? Because everyone knew you were a scorer coming into the year, but what did you kind of add heading into the year?
Well, going into the year, playing with Flynn up over the summer, I was on set pieces a lot for them. One of the parts of my game that Higgs was telling me I needed to improve on was my deliveries. So I spent a lot of time off the field or away from practice time, working on my set plays, because a majority of my assists came from corner kicks and free kicks. And one of the other parts he told me to work on was my final pass and getting that off and not putting too much weight on it or under hitting it. So I spent time with my brother up at the field working on doing short 10, 15-yard passes, getting the right weight on them, so I could put guys in good places to score.
Definitely paid off with a lot of goals this year. Like I said, you've led the nation in assists per game. So it's good to see your name at the top of those charts for sure. Coach, back to you. What was, you guys lost your first round GLVC game on your home field. What was kind of the mood heading into that? But then heading after, you lose the game, but then you're going to the NCAA tournament. What was kind of the mood heading into that, and then after coming through and winning the program's first NCAA tournament game?
Yeah, there was a sense after the GLVC tournament game that the season was over, and I'm standing there and I'm looking at a lot of seniors crying on that field and feeling really bad that that's the last experience they have with our program, because we'd just gone through a year where we had great seniors the year before, and it ended in that first round of the conference tournament. And I was watching games throughout the rest of the conference tournaments. We, as a coaching staff, we were checking on every other result that could go for us. And when we finally found out we were in the NCAA tournament, it was almost like we had a bit of a second chance, and it really seemed like there was no pressure on us. It seemed like it was a bonus for us to have that. And I think that was the mentality of the guys. Like our season had already ended. We'd already gone through that terrible experience that sometimes you kind of sometimes play at the end of the season with almost that fear of failure. If this doesn't go well, we're going to go through this terrible experience. Well, we already went through that experience, so we really had nothing to lose going into the NCAA tournament. I definitely think it helped our mentality.
Yeah, you talked about, that late, you struggled the year before. You guys went to Maryville, lost that game in a heartbreaker. Season came to a close there. So it was nice to kind of avenge that and punch your ticket back towards into the NCAA tournament this past year. Javi, let's go back to you here. Your final game in Key Stadium was that USI game, but the week before that, you had Senior Day. You scored a hat trick on Senior Day in your final regular season home game at Key Stadium. Kind of talk about that game and what it meant for you and the seniors on Senior Day there. Get that win.
Getting that win meant a lot, not only to me but the rest of the senior class, because at that point we weren't quite sure that we were going to host USI the week after. So for a lot of us, we were going out there. This is our last game on this stadium. 4 years of great memories. Let's go out here and let's end with a bang. And we ended up doing that against William Jewell. Unfortunately, it didn't happen against USI. But that game meant a lot for a lot of people because Abba hadn't scored a career goal for UIndy in his entire 4 years, and for him to end up getting that penalty meant not only a lot to him, I think, but to everybody because Abba was such an integral part of the team. I think that was more important to us as a team than the hat trick was for me.
Yeah, I remember watching Abba step up there. He was kind of confused. He's like, I'm the one who gets to take this. Like, I didn't think I got that, but watching him go up there and drill it was special for not only him but everybody else that watched. Senior meant so much to score their first goal on senior day, like you said. Coach, let's go back to you here. Not many people know this, but Miles Palmer went from GA to back in the goal this past year. Talk about the role he played for you guys. Going from coaching staff to back on the field, but then into the NCAA tournament. Talk about the presence Miles had for you guys.
He was massive for us. He was absolutely massive. I think both him, Andy, and Vickers in the roles that they were in, kind of partly coaching, being a part of the team, almost like a great link there between the team and the coaching staff. I think we had above all on this last year, we had unbelievable leadership. Now we had great guys like Javi who are kind of impacting the actual field, but I think Miles and Ian Vickers, those guys, even kind of Andy Duncan to a certain extent, almost kind of removed themselves from actually playing in the matches. We had those guys to really run the off-field leadership, and I feel like it was probably the best I'd ever seen in that respect. And credit to Miles, he's got a great personality. The guys love him, the coaches love him, and then somehow during the season, he's bought this Eddie Bauer sweater, and it's turned into the biggest thing we could have ever done. And I think if we'll never forget that season for what we did, but also for the fact that he had this horrendous Eddie Bauer sweater on, and it just became some kind of mascot or lucky charm or something like that for us. And it just added to the magic of the whole season. And he was a massive part of that.
Only Miles Palmer could take a $20 sweater and make it into something so much more meaningful than what it really is.
I remember at one point through the season, we were in a game and it was a really tough game. And one of the players, I can't remember who it was, told me this after the game. He was like, I was really nervous, but then I realized I had my Eddie Bauer on and I felt a sense of comfort. And he was being totally serious that he felt a sense of comfort because he had the Eddie Bauer on and he felt like it was going to take care of us.
Once again, only an impact that Miles Palmer can make on a team. All right, so we'll stay with you here. Winning that Elite Eight game, you avenged the loss to Maryville. They ended your season the year before. They came into Key Stadium and won just a month before that. What was it like for you getting that win, winning the regional championship for your alma mater, but leading into the Final Four after just getting them in their first NCAA tournament win?
Yeah, it was massive for us. We honestly really needed one over them. They'd beaten us quite a few times, recently, and it was one where I really didn't want to see them going into the game, but no doubt it was brilliant to win the game. But I think the manner in which we won it, I thought we totally deserved to win. I thought we were dominant. I thought there was only going to ever be one team that was going to win it from really the kickoff from the start of the game. I think it could have been much more convincing in terms of like the actual score line, but just the manner in how we did it. Sometimes it's not easy to play in finals, but they looked like they were playing in a final. They looked like they froze a little bit, and I felt like it was a really, really good team performance from us. I felt like we executed everything we had to execute. I thought we really deserved it.
Yeah, that game was just an absolute, knockdown, drag out, defensive game. Just being there, you could just feel the tension between the two teams. Like you said, Maryville has had your number X amount of times before that. So getting that win, holding that trophy in, had to mean so much for you as well.
Yeah, I think when you look back at the stats of the game, they've only really had one shot, and it's not one where you can think back to that shot. You can't think of a single time where they've threatened our goalkeeper, and that was felt really, really good just to put the performance with the result.
Sticking with that Elite Eight game, Javi, we'll talk, just kind of get your thoughts on winning that Elite Eight game, in your final year. But then also, after that, you get 2 All-American nods at the end. Talk about what it meant for you in your final year to have all those accolades with you.
To win all those accolades means a lot, but in the end, it was more of a team effort. It was more of a team mentality for me. I was just more excited about winning the Elite Eight, getting into that Final Four, winning another game in the NCAA tournament, just making more history with the program. We've had a ton of talented teams before I came in, and to be one of now the only senior class that's won an NCAA game, that's what's more special to me, I think, than getting the individual awards, because I look back at some of the players I played with, and I've played with some truly phenomenal players such as David Kurz, Josh Ling, Jake Meyer, and because of the culture that they had implemented before I got there, helped me achieve what I achieved and helped me lead the team to what we achieved. So winning those games, that is something I guess I get to say, hey, I got this one over you guys. But I also got to thank you guys because you helped me grow into what happened.
Yeah. I mean, you're just talking about that team camaraderie you guys had, looking at your background right there. I mean, you guys were as close as they came. You worked so hard, came so far together in just this one year. It was truly remarkable to watch for not only me, but everybody else. Bobby, one last one for you. What are you going to miss most about, this team, this program?
Like you said just now, the team is everything I'm going to miss. The 4 teams I've played with over the past 4 years, the camaraderie that was there, not only in the locker room stuff or on the field, the wins and the losses, and, knowing that the guy next to me is always going to have my back, but even off the field things, just hanging out in the dorms, at apartments, at houses, we were always together. We were like an inseparable group at times. And, this last year, I think I felt it more than I had in past years, and it showed on the field. That's the sense of bonding that I had with the UIndy program over the past 4 years is something that's going to be really hard to fill, going into the next stage of life.
I completely agree with that. All right, Higgs, we'll throw it to you for your last one here. Just kind of talk about, what you and your staff have been doing to get ready for this upcoming season, given the circumstances right now.
Yeah, we've been working really hard with the guys on just maintaining the culture that we have. We're in constant communication with them about, we're evaluating we've got a values-based culture that about. We're looking at other programs with value-based cultures versus some of these pro cultures that you see, like maybe in The Last Dance, that's a kind of win at all cost. And we're trying to really get the guys to think deeply about, maybe kind of the mental side of the game, just because it's been difficult for us to spend, a lot of time with them this spring on the tactical and the technical. So we've really done well with that through the summer. Beyond that, it's going to be a different looking fall this year. We've brought in some new faces, so it's going to be recently here we've been looking at the training sessions we're going to run, how we're going to get some of these new guys up to speed. But just like this time at any season, you're really, really excited about, what may happen. I think what Javi's done there and his group have done is they've kind of, shown the way. I think for everybody coming in this fall, there's almost a bit of an expectation that we're going to get back there, and that's how the program continues to grow and get better, is that great groups like Javi's group go and they break that down and they accomplish it, and all of a sudden you take a look at it and it then becomes something that every team needs to aspire to. So it's exciting to go into the fall with really, really lofty expectations.
Yep, you'll be towards the top of the GLBC once again this year. Well, guys, thanks for your time, and best of luck.